dyed with blood and herbs. Creating the design alone can take up to 2 hours, and that takes several people. There was also at least 20 other people, men and women, waiting to assist with the ceremony. And finally, Esperanza came out to begin the ceremony. And she looked right at me with those eyes, and I almost wanted to stop right then. Those eyes at times made me nervous. And I questioned whether she looked at everyone like that, or was it just me, but probably just everyone. Sometimes I would wonder, how could someone who brings love just look so evil? She then told the little Haitian woman to let me know that the ceremony would bring back my ex and for me to be calm and to believe. The ceremony was surreal. About 15 minutes into it, Esperanza began to get into a trance. And for a woman who's about in her 60s, her movements and her dancing was amazing. I was allowed to film only a portion of the ceremony and only the parts that they wanted me to film. I was kept under really close supervision, and I didn't want to upset anyone by filming when I shouldn't film, and besides, the life of my battery was only 2 hours. However, I did give my camera to someone else at times because I felt I needed to be away from the situation and just to walk away from the area. The ceremony can be quite surreal and a bit frightening because being there in person was, I guess, just a bit too real for me. I was supposed to assist Esperanza when the chicken was brought out for the sacrifice, but when she signaled me to come, I ran out of the area and I began to shake and cry because I really wished I had no involvement in this. At that point, I really did. I hadn't thought about the reality of the ceremony, the situation, and that didn't sit well with Esperanza at all. And I was later chastised because, I guess for my weakness. And she was upset that because I had known that and was made aware that there would be a sacrifice, and because the sacrifice had to be made, and there would be need for bloodshed in order for the spell to work completely. And she thought I should be able to watch that with full understanding of its purpose. But what really raised the hairs behind my neck was the trance and the voice change which took over Esperanza and one of the men midway through the ceremony. That was absolutely freaky, and how that's done I can't explain, but that's one of the parts I was not allowed to film. If I hadn't seen the takeover of her body and voice, I would never have believed it. The ceremony lasted close to 6 hours, and by then everyone was exhausted, and I was exhausted just watching. I just couldn't imagine them after 6 hours and giving all your energy. Then I realized that the cost of the ceremony that I was quoted wasn't as expensive as I first thought, because it took so much more preparation and people to be involved with it that it was worth every penny, if just for the experience of seeing this phenomenon before my very eyes. After the ceremony, I was handed a doll which had been part of the ceremony, and I was also handed instructions in Creole, which were translated into English, to chant often during the day. And I was to say those chants as often as I could remember. The doll was to go directly under my bed, along with a picture and items belonging to my ex. And then I was told to use patience, prayer, and perseverance, and